Hello there, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program New Zealand Reborn, where you're joining me here back at the mission control because we are taking a look at some new missions surrounding asteroids. There's a lot of money to be made around the asteroid missions, all sorts of types like redirection, capture, just visiting asteroids, lots of different things we could do. But most importantly, they give us a lot of money, and as the finance department always says, if the money ain't pumping, the rockets ain't jumping. So we better take a look at those soon. And what better yet than to use our tried and tested Zida series of shuttles. And this time we're just sticking a big old claw on the bottom of the shuttle and sending it up under the expert piloting skills of Jebediah McLaughlin to go intercept an asteroid that is passing nearby to Kerbin. This mission should follow a similar profile to the old Erebor missions, which visited asteroids before, Erebor 1 and 2. In this case, our shuttle has, I think, slightly more capability than the other rockets that we launched before to asteroids, but this one should go smoothly without much issue. And indeed, lo and behold, we arrive at the asteroid after a series of maneuvers by our pilot, Jebediah McLaughlin, the NZSS Rocky, as it is called, going on close approach to the body here. In this case, we sort of need to do a reverse maneuver up to it because the claw is on the back of the shuttle. Can't really afford to place it on the front because this does eventually need to re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere, but the approach also as well goes pretty smoothly, and we successfully attach to the asteroid. After a little while, Petrov goes ahead and climbs out to gather some samples of the asteroid, doing a couple experiments, taking a picture for his portfolio, very valuable there. Before getting back in the shuttle for their return maneuver to Kerbin. After we land, this asteroid sample should give us another little, 30-something science. I forget exactly how much, but we like doing these asteroid missions, especially because they give us money, since we're hauling tourists around to go look at things that not even very many professional astronauts have, but, we like to invest in our future monetary gains. So, re-entering the atmosphere here, you can see we're actually getting quite close to the space center, though the shuttle does not really have the capability to glide that far because it does not have its own thrust. So, we land basically within swimming distance, but we have to send a ship out there to recover the NZSS Rocky. Over the years, we've had many battles with our arch-nemesis in the Julian system, of course, being Tylo, and it's forced our hand, because with Tumuaki 6, we have built a dedicated lander for Tylo, just Tylo, and only Tylo, to hopefully once and for all land on the planet successfully. Unfortunately, the final battle with Tylo is going to have to wait until we're finished with our EVE mission, because, finally, the EVE transfer window is coming up, and after we return all the astronauts from Weber Station around Minmus, we're getting preparations ready to start the assembly of the ISS Herman, named after our astronaut Herman, who was lost on our Duna mission. This ship is going to be more capable than the ISS Valentina ever was, and it should be capable enough to take 8 astronauts from Kerbin and the Bun to the surface of Eve and back home safely. That is the goal anyway. But after years of work and many delays for our Eve mission, it is finally about to commence. As historic as the achievement of the ISS Herman and its Scandinavian and New Zealander crew is, we received communications that India has in fact landed, planted a footprint, and planted a flag onto the surface of Gili, which is Eve's singular moon. Apparently, they had planned, like us, to visit Gili on their way out of Eve, but they decided to change their mission plans and stop at Gili first before heading to the planet. So, after some photo shoots are returned to Kerbin, there is a lot of buzz around who will be able to land on the surface of Eve first, as India's ship, the Navik 1, makes its way towards low Eve orbit. Hot on the tail of the ISS Herman, it is still anybody's game as to who will land on Eve first. Though the race to Eve is taking up most of the media's attention, the New Zealand Space Agency has to focus back on Tamaki 6 for a second as it approaches Joule and its target moon of Tylo. It performs a braking burn with its nuclear saltwater rocket engine before coasting downwards into a low orbit of Tylo, and then decoupling the lander to take its final descent down to the surface. It is cut very, very close with the amount of fuel that this lander has, but in the end, we do finally manage to have a soft landing on the surface of Tylo after all these years and all of the failed missions. But you would be wrong to expect that New Zealand would accept just 2 major historical achievements today, because Ranginui 1 is on the end of its 8-year journey to Erlem, and the exploration of the Erlem system is about to begin in earnest.